Hi, I'm Tammy Gingro with Body and Balance, Reimagine Fayette County, and New Aeon at Venus Rising. I'm here to share with you my monthly Celtic cross in the Egyptian tarot. This Egyptian tarot is an actual holistic health tool, an ancient holistic health tool. And it's been a very powerful tool for me to work with to help me navigate my expanding consciousness and my awakening and connect our ancient history and our ancient ways of being and weave that in to the modern fabric. So this moon is incredible. The hour of it being exact has already passed, but you may be well aware that we've got the total lunar eclipse and the full moon in the sign of Taurus. And we experienced this eclipse just a few hours ago. It was, the eclipse was beginning in its shadow phase at right around 5 a.m. Eastern time. And that shadow phase lasted for 90 minutes. And then the full moon was exact at 6:02 a.m. And this is notably one of the most powerful astrological influences that we will experience in our lifetime. There have been a lot of these. We are not living in easy times. We are living in and through and witnessing and being the greatest transformation in human history, the greatest awakening to our power and our higher levels of consciousness, and to showing up 100% responsible for creating our lives. And so I'm here in service to you. I want to offer this reading each and every month, and I commit to getting it out a little earlier for you. The good news is, among other good news, there's lots of good news in this reading today. The good news is that these energies are far reaching of the solar eclipse, at least for the next 6 months, and at least until the next eclipse season starts, which is May. And just a little bit about the astrology before I dive into sharing the 10 card spread in this Celtic cross. What a powerful, powerful, beautiful, beautiful energy. We've got the sun conjunct Venus and Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is currently the south node of the moon. So that's what we are moving away from collectively and individually, personally. So during this time frame, we really want to bring up, allow to bubble up the shadows that are ready to be released, that are no longer serving us. And we are truly empowered to release them once for all, meaning they will not come back to us. So whatever fears you've been working through or have surfaced and revealed themselves to you, and I invite you to do some serious contemplation, quiet contemplation, and out in nature, ideally. We will still see the moon looking quite full tonight, and we're still very much in this energy. So I invite you to go out. I've got some questions and some intentions that I'll share throughout, and I hope you'll find some time to meditate upon those questions and to maximize. The point of tuning into these types of things to learn a little bit more about astrology and energy in general is that so you can navigate it with ease and grace. We're no longer going to be blown about by the winds of change. We are the masters of change, moving towards personal responsibility and mastery. And it is my great pleasure to bring this to you, to share this with you, to offer this to you generously. I hope it supports you. So we have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury conjunct in the sign of Scorpio, opposing, as it does every month, the full moon in its opposite sign, which is Taurus. And the planet Uranus is conjunct the moon in Taurus, creating unexpected changes. Uranus is famous for being the great awakener and is represented by Wajet in shamanic Egyptian astrology. And This is not planned. I drew Wajette 3 mornings ago, and I haven't drawn a new card in this deck since because I have been heavily meditating in this energy of Wajette. And I think I'll create another video with a Wajette meditation if you would like to experience that. And hopefully I'll be able to put a link in the description box below. But this great awakener energy, awakening your inner self, your true self, awakening to the true source of your power, to the oneness of us all. Notice the great eye in the center of the throat of Wajette, and think about the deities and pharaohs that have the serpent on their diadem. And this is the wisest creature. It says life force energy, purification, and divine awakener. So that is the energy that Uranus is bringing to the mix. And to make matters more interesting, we have Saturn in Aquarius squaring both the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, and the Moon and Uranus. And a square shakes things up, stirs things up, presents a challenge, presents more questions, presents more fertilizer for what we're creating. And the Saturn-Uranus square has been an intense energy this entire year. And it's just amazing to see what we will all create in the end. So you'll see me looking down. I've created notes. I long for the day where I feel comfortable just completely reading intuitively for you. But I draw these cards. I sit in the energy. I meditate with each one of them. I take notes that I want to remember to share with you. So there's really quite a process that goes into sharing these energies with you. So in the Celtic cross, the cards are literally displayed in a cross. It's the thumbnail picture that was with this video. The card in the first position represents the basic situation. And this is a collective reading for the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus and the energies reaching and carrying us into the next 6 months and beyond. So our first card is the Four of Pentacles. These 4 towers that you see in the corner contain the alchemical symbols for each of the elements. And it's also this card, if you think of the top of the pyramid, if this was, we're seeing it from a top-down view, but if this is a pyramid, the top of that pyramid can represent the heavens, and the heavens connecting to all 4 directions. This is also a strong and firm foundation. The element of discs or pentacles is the earth element and the material realm. And this card indicates that we have everything we need and are poised to attract everything we need to manifest what we wish to birth into the world at this time. This element of earth is fully established by the number 4. The cards work with numerology, they work with astrology and astronomy, they work with the I Ching, the ancient Chinese divination system. They literally weave together all of the ancient systems, including the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life. So this card, power, the energy of creation, building a solid foundation for an endeavor or a relationship, the establishment of the universe, generating ideas in its material sense, a card of manifestation, generating ideas in their material sense. This card is ruled by the sun in Capricorn, and that is the sign in which Saturn is reborn. It is the moment in our astrological calendar when the sun begins to turn northward again after the days becoming shorter. It's our winter solstice, and they begin to become longer again. And Saturn is really exalted here. And remember, we have Saturn squaring both the sun and the moon. And this sign represents the sun in Capricorn, Capricorn being ruled by Saturn. This is incredibly powerful rebirthing energy here. It is literally the time where, if you will, allot time and energy for self-care, for honoring yourself, for considering what is your vision, What would you be passionate? What can you be passionate about birthing into this world? We have everything we need to make it so at this time. Typically in this deck, it's the court cards, the knights, the princes, the princesses, and the queens that are linked with an I Ching. This is one of the small cards, and it is linked with an I Ching, and a very powerful I Ching at that. The second hexagram, Quan, which is the female principle being exalted. The spelling changes depending on which translation of the I Ching you're looking at. In this one, it's Khwan, and we're asked to consider that it's the same root as the word queen. And our intention might be, I offer my power in service of love. I offer my power in service of love. In looking at that second hexagram in the I Ching, it highlights the source of success, safety, security. The way is open. The primordial waters and rhythm of birth, death, and rebirth. The primordial waters of birth, death, and rebirth. The rhythm of those primordial waters. That is what we're able to tune into in the energy of this lunar eclipse. This is a time to give birth to projects, to bear fruit, to be gentle and receptive, honoring the divine feminine within yourself and every other. Being adaptable. This represents the midwife archetype, and she serves and produces concrete results. So if I offer my power in service of love, I can serve and produce concrete results. The portal opens a whole new cycle of time. Now that is just this I Ching. That is the words of the Mothering Change translation, but it is literally what we are experiencing. This lunar eclipse is a portal, literally opening a whole new cycle of time, a whole new era. We are literally anchoring in the Aquarian age, the age of collaboration, community, love. We are supported in acquiring what we desire and to achieve mastery. Let your power be so generous that it can carry everything that approaches you. Let your power be so generous that it can carry everything that approaches you, no matter what energies come toward you. Let your power serve with love. The four sides of this pyramid connect the heavens and the four directions. We talked about that. We can make real changes in the energy of this activation. An eclipse is always an activation. It's a time when greater levels of light are flooding onto our planet. It's a time when everyone who opens themselves and goes into quiet can experience downloads, uploads, and it'll be on a conscious level or a subconscious level. Okay. This period of the lunar cycle that is most potent for releasing what we want to let go of is still going on up until November 22nd. So take that time, please, and contemplate what you are ready to release, and you are fully empowered to release it. Set intentions, plan for the long term, and take the wider view. Those are the things that the Four of Pentacles are encouraging and supporting us in. When we are generous, we create reciprocity and abundance. We get what we give. So how can you give more fully? The card number 2, the card in the crossing or supporting energy. So card number 2 is supporting the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Three of Cups, abundance. These 3 cups are made of pomegranates, and they are very much in balance. They are overflowing, and they signify that we literally have everything we need to produce what we aim to produce, to create what we aim to create, to be in the ways of being that we wish to show up in. So, what wonderful energy we have to support the manifestation made possible through this lunation. This card indicates fulfillment of the will of love through abounding joy. The will of love through abounding joy. It represents Mercury in Cancer. And Mercury represents the will of the word of the All-Father. Mercury being a masculine attributed planet or energy archetype represented by Tehote in shamanic Egyptian astrology. So we have, on the one hand, the water element expressing as the will of love in abounding joy, and that it represents the masculine aspect of the will of the word of the All-Father. Mercury is currently conjunct the Sun in Scorpio, as we discussed during the time of this eclipse. Furthermore, the combination of these ideas and energies brings in an element of mystery from the Sea of Bina. So the water that you see in the background is calm. It's the Sea of Bina. And Bina is a position on the tree of life in the Kabbalah. Bina means our intuitive understanding. So here we see that by taking time to honor ourselves, to honor the cycles of nature, to dream and create what we wish, we bring a state of calm and peace to our intuitive understanding, to the Sea of Bina, or a source of feminine insight. So I see in this card a real masculine and feminine balance. The word I'm looking for is escaping me, the reconciliation of opposites represented here in beautiful perfection. So here is Venus exalted also in this card, and she is conjunct the Sun in Scorpio. So as I mentioned, these cups are made of pomegranates. What a rare and delicious fruit. And it symbolizes the treasure of uncommon love. So I ask you to make all of your love uncommon or extraordinary. Don't settle for ordinary. Love pours with overflowing joy into these cups, into your cup, so that your cup is full and you have abounding, joyful love to share with everyone you interact with. This energy is available for each of us to cultivate over the next 6 months. Imagine if everybody agreed to receive abounding love with joy and to share it as much as they can for the next 6 months. What kind of world can we create together? So I am asking you to consider declaring 3 people in your life that you are really going to pour love into for the next 6 months. One of them could be yourself, and I recommend that one of them is yourself, but this is up to you to take the stretch or not, and to care for yourself and others with respect and gratitude. Next, we have card number 3, which represents our conscious thoughts, and I love that we have our second 4, but we also now have the progression from the 3 of Cups to the 4 of Cups, luxury, which is coming into our conscious thoughts during this time. This card refers to the moon in Cancer, and the pink lotus signifies the love we are receiving from others. So in abundance, we really talked about giving love, but we also talked about what we give, we receive. That is a law of nature, the law of reciprocity. What we give, we do receive. So this is about receiving love from others and basking in emotional richness that comes from being generous, receptive, and grateful. The roots of the lotus are rooted deep in the subconscious and makes its appearance. And it's so the roots are rooted deep in our subconscious. Remember that sea of Bina. Now we see that our roots are rooted there. And yet this card is representing our conscious thoughts. So to me, this says that we are bringing this decision, this conscious decision to love more fully into our collective consciousness. And again, I ask you to really dive into these experiments of pouring more love on more people and then receiving that love and basking in the emotional richness that results. This indicates that this lunar eclipse, this blood beaver moon, is supporting us raising our collective consciousness like never before. We are all called to enjoy it, to share it, to pass it on. How can you release restriction in your life so that you are free to give and receive more love and more abundance? This is one of these questions that you may choose to meditate upon later. How can you release restriction in your life so that you are free to give and receive more love and more abundance? And an intention that I am using this month, and I welcome you to use it as well. I am full of thankfulness and joy. Card number 4, in our unconscious thoughts, we have the Knight of Wands. Wands is the fire element. Just take this night in and allow a moment for your own intuitive, energetic download of what this represents in your unconscious thoughts. The Knight of Wands. Wands is the fire element. We clearly see loads of fiery energy here. The Knight of Wands represents the fiery part of air. He rules from the 21st degree of Scorpio to the 20th degree of Sagittarius. And again, I know the amazement that I feel in these readings when the card that represents the current astrological cycle is showing up, and it's showing up in our unconscious thoughts. And remember, Scorpio is currently on the south node of the moon, and we're being asked to reflect on the shadow aspects of Scorpio personally and collectively, to bring them to the surface, to release them, and to fill that space with love. So this knight carries a flaming torch. He has flames on his mantle, and he's riding on the flames. And he's got an incredibly sturdy steed that he's riding. This tells me that we are poised to take action on what it is we are ready to birth in the world. The qualities he possesses are activity, generosity, fierceness, impulsiveness, swiftness in unpredictable actions. He can be fickle and lack stamina, so we need to be careful that what we set our mind and our will to do, that we actually have the stamina to carry it forth to manifestation. This knight represents the 51st hexagram in the I Ching. And that tells us to be cool, resolute, energetic, beware of untimely action, and go forward in confidence in your ability. Go forward with confidence in your ability. It's not the time to hold back. Increased insight into the coming changes here again are symbolized by mastery of growth and inner development. So it's time for us to master what we have been internally working on and to show up with a spirit of responsibility and mastery in our lives, in our daily lives, in all of our interactions, to show up with 100% responsibility and mastery. Dropping all that is old and leaping forward courageously. Dropping all that is old, let it burn in these flames. Let it be carried away with the lunar eclipse energies and go forth courageously. Harness the energy released by increased perception due to the influx of light and the interruption of the full moon, and become unstoppable. So during a lunar eclipse, the full moon gets interrupted by the shadow of the earth. In this case, in the course of 5 hours, we experienced an entire 28-day moon cycle. We witnessed first the waning as the shadow comes over the moon and it takes it all the way through the waning phase. We experienced 90 minutes of the moon being in full shadow of the earth, and then the waxing phase of it going back up to full again. So be open and ready for the people and situations who will support your plans and bring about dynamic change. Every challenge which arises helps me grow. This is another intention that you may choose to share with me this month. Every challenge which arises helps me grow, and every storm strengthens my roots. In the number 5 position, which represents our past influences, we are loaded with discs in this reading. This is our 3rd card in the discs or pentacles, the earth element, which represents our material world. And this is the 9 of discs, gain. And you may notice the dynamic geometry in this card. And this is a very, very, very powerful card to have for our past influences. This card is represented by Venus in Virgo. Venus is exalted in the sign of Virgo. It heralds good luck in material affairs and favor and popularity. How wonderful to come into the holiday season with good luck, favor, and popularity. So if you will add good management to that good luck, you will reap the fullness of this card. So maybe the sign of Virgo is very organized and all about getting organized. And oftentimes in September to October when it's Virgo season, August to September when it's Virgo season, it's always a good time to do our sort of fall cleaning and organization and attention to details. So let's combine good luck and good management to bring in the fullness of this card, which is love, wisdom, and creativity are all completely favored here. We repeat actually the theme of this reading again, generosity and reciprocity. This card literally tells us the more I give, the more I receive. The greatest gain in life is to realize yourself, to realize myself, to gaze, to dive into my shadows, those parts of myself that I've abandoned, that I've even loathed and hated and hidden from the world, to dive in, to realize myself. And this occurs by carrying out the special purpose that only you can fulfill in this lifetime, your unique soul's purpose for being. Gain comes from giving willingly and lovingly. Gain, the title of this card, comes from giving willfully and lovingly. Another intention, should you choose to adopt it. Everything that happens today serves my growth. Everything that happens today serves my growth. What an empowering statement that is. Oh, this card brings me so much joy. Another pentacle, our fourth pentacle. This is the future, the near future energies. Truly one of the happiest, most potent, most fertile, most blessed card in the entire deck, the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace serves as the throne for the princess. So in the suit of Pentacles 1 through 10, we've talked a little bit about how the numerology comes into play. The princess takes the seat of the Eld Father. She actually takes the place of the king in other tarot. And the aces are the throne of the princess. This ace in particular, you can see how the sun radiates from the center. There are wings. There is the energy of creation, prolific. Again, just take a moment to gaze at this card and to allow for your own intuitive reading and your own intuitive voice to speak to you about what the Ace of Pentacles means in the near future energies. This card brings Isis back to the throne. That's divine feminine mother god Isis back to the throne. It heralds the coming new aeon of Taurus, or the new aeon of Aquarius. And rather than a flat disk, this is whirling energy. And it signifies even the whirling energy of our solar system. Divine feminine balance is again encouraged. Inner and outer riches, unification, body and soul, wholeness, complete unification. All of these things are highlighted, heralded, represented here, and they are ours to take forward to create the world that we wish to live in. So this new consciousness brings with it an attitude of continued development. Each and every day, I want to be the best I can be. I want to give love and generosity to everyone I can. New levels of being are continually brought forth in this way. It's contagious, right? What we give, we get. So with these new ways of being being brought forth, each in its turn, discovered, accepted, and integrated. That is the process of shadow integration. Discover, accept, and integrate, and then love, 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 and bring it into external expression. So all that is needed is already at hand. That is what we're being told here. Everything that we need to create the world we wish to create is already at hand. We simply have to give ourselves up to the fullness of life and learn to use your wings. And you can see the wings above and the wings below. There's lots of wings in this image here, this beautiful image. So work towards developing your potential. Another affirmation: I remain open for every form of enrichment in my life. Wealth is my natural condition. I remain open for every form of enrichment in my life. Wealth is my natural condition. Next, card number 7. This represents, this represents us. Since this is a collective reading, this represents you and I. And there's a special card in the Crowley deck that when it comes with another card, it really intensifies. It like makes it like tenfold. So we got the special significator card with the Eight of Pentacles. Yes, another pentacle. This tells me that our manifestations are uber blessed, that we can all choose to finish 2022 strong, not give up on any of our dreams or any of our plans, maybe regroup, redefine, bring good management, open to receive. This card, the Eight of Pentacles, prudence, is the blossoming and the blooming of what we've laid the foundation for. It's not quite the harvest, but it's the beauty, the blossoming and the blooming. The flowering stage of internal riches. The flowering stage of both internal and external riches laid out on all four levels of being. Long hidden abilities and possibilities are becoming visible and available to you. The idea expressed in the Ace, and now here we are with fulfillment in the card that represents us. The Eight stands for harmony and balance. As you bloom and unfold in equal measure on all levels of being, we develop a deep sense of psychic equilibrium. Again, back to that psychic equilibrium that we found in the Sea of Bina in card number 3, being reinforced again here. The readings are always incredible, but there is so much cohesiveness, and it just keeps developing, blooming. Internal flowering is a delicate process, so remember to be gentle with yourself, to give yourself the space. Think about those early blossoms in springtime, and then the first frost comes. Internal blossoming is a delicate process that requires great care, attention, and nurturance. This lunar eclipse blesses us with uploads and downloads, releases and integrations. Pay special attention to clarity, organization, and beauty. Here are a couple of more intentions or affirmations. I don't need to force anything. Everything unfolds at the proper time. And then a question: are you giving yourself the nourishment you need at this time? Moving up, the energies that come to us from the outside world, card number 8, the Wheel of Fortune. So we had the 8 of Pentacles and now the 8 in the Major Arcana. The next 3 cards, I will give a spoiler alert, are all Major Arcana, and they are incredible and powerful. So with all we've already learned about the power of manifestation and love and generosity and our desires being blessed and blooming, we now get the Wheel of Fortune, which to me is almost like getting a ticket, a first class ticket, and every detail is completely laid out and ready for you to just say the word, and this fortune comes in, this fruition. So this card is represented by the planet Jupiter, which is all about expansion, new beginnings, big breakthroughs, self-realization. Remember, we talked about already the greatest gain is realizing yourself. And now this card literally talks about the fullness of self-realization and the expansion and breakthrough that becomes possible with that self-realization. It's really, truly incredible. This card also highlights unexpected fortune. And we've got Uranus, the planet of unexpected changes. So let's open ourselves up to receive some unexpected wealth and good fortune. So you can see the energy whirlwinds and lightning bolts, and they are turning the 10-spoked wheel of fortune. This is a symbol of wholeness. We have 3 Egyptian gods represented on the wheel. At the top there, we see the Sphinx, which unifies the 4 magic virtues. And this reminds me very much of the 4 pillars in our first card, the 4 of Pentacles. But the Sphinx unifies 4 magic virtues: knowledge, will, daring, and silence. Those are your magic tools: knowledge, will, daring, and silence. Wisdom arises when we unify our animal instincts with our intuitive intellect. Powers of discrimination deliver clarity. It's like we're being given a complete roadmap with this lunar eclipse reading. The crocodile, who you can see riding on the side there, is Sobek in shamanic Egyptian astrology, also represents the god of creativity, the fool, Dionysus, the springtime, hopes, and this card is in the, never mind. We have the possibility to create our own luck. To create our own luck. Remember, we got the card associated with luck, and now we're told we're given the opportunity to create our own luck. And we attract great opportunities, and we have the discernment to make good use of them. The 8 on the other side symbolizes flexibility. The center of the wheel is the sun, which is the most powerful and positive card in the deck. The inner seed, untouched by the ups and downs of duality. Remember, we talked about reconciliation of opposites, inner and outer riches, divine masculine, divine feminine. The inner seed, untouched by the ups and downs of duality. That's what it means to find that intuitive, peaceful, psychic tranquility in the sea of Bina. So we have every potential for a huge breakthrough into clarity and great fortune. Seeing things clearly, not just from your perspective, seeing from a wider, higher perspective. If there are no miracles in your life, you need to clean your lens. Miracles are occurring each and every day, and you get to be the source of miracles for other people. Use this moment in time and human history to create the possibility of great breakthroughs for yourself and your loved ones. By changing your ways of being, you're going to have an impact on everyone that you interact with. So here is a great question. What is still standing in the way of great fortune for you? And we talked earlier about what can I release? What is holding me back? So that question was, what is standing in the way of great fortune for you? And an affirmation, I am now ready for the miracle of my life. The miracle of miracles. I am now ready for the miracle of my life. So this card, the Wheel of Fortune, just alluded to the Fool, the beginning, and look what we have in the place of our hopes and dreams. The 9th card in the Celtic cross reading is the place of our hopes and dreams, and we have the Fool, one of the most comprehensive cards in the deck. The major arcana, the 21 cards of the major arcana, basically birth to death, and then it just starts again with rebirth. It's a constant spiral. Life is a spiral. The Fool is such an auspicious place for him. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Fool, all bringing really similar energy. This is a really, really, really auspicious, blessed reading. So now is the moment of the new aeon of Horus. The new age of Aquarius begins to truly blossom. That is what is signified here. More of us are leaving behind the absurdities and injustice of the old paradigm. And we are standing as the source of a transformed world. We are saying no more. We are saying we need new ways of living and being, and it's going back to the ancient ways where we protect and preserve our earth. We live in harmony with our earth and in harmony with one another. This is the age of collaboration, of love, 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 and consciousness, openness, trust, being ready to take a risk, freedom, independence, creativity, great potential, time for a quantum leap. That's what the Fool tells us. That's what the Knight of Wands told us, but it said to use caution. The Fool is telling you, you may well be ready for a quantum leap. Collectively, we are poised for a quantum leap. Listen to the voice of your own heart, your own higher self. The Fool is spiraled about by the long umbilical cord of birth. It's a connection to cosmic oneness. Rebirthing on all planes, spiritual, emotional, physical, intellectual. The only prerequisite is your own willingness to change, to surrender to the divine. Thy will, let my will be thy will, I often say to the divine creator. Let my will be thy will. I surrender to the great changes that are at hand. It is time for level 4 responsibility and self-cultivation. For each of us, imagine if the entire world were focused on self-cultivation and responsibility to self-cultivation. Some questions. What are my emotional needs? What are your emotional needs? Ask yourself, what are my emotional needs? And how can I be sure that those needs are met? Remember, the moon highlights our emotions. You're likely to be feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster these last weeks and next weeks to come. Vulnerability and boundaries are equally important. Be proactive about your health and healing. The crocodile shows again here in the bottom of this card, the crocodile from the Wheel of Fortune. And here he tells us it's important to develop our creative abilities. Abundance is a state of mind and a state of being. It is time to act with unstoppable faith. The Fool holds the alchemical symbols for the meeting of opposite forces, which creates the energy for transformation. So again, we have the third appearance of the alchemical symbols for unification of opposites, which is the energy to make this great change and transformation possible and manifest in your life. So let go and surrender. A quantum leap is truly now possible, perhaps more than ever before. So we also see this tiger trying to bite at him, but he is not swayed by it. What is your tiger of fear? How do you imagine your courageous leap forward? By identifying your tiger of fear, by releasing it. How do you imagine your courageous leap forward? Okay, two more cards here. We have the outcome position, card number 10 in this reading. And then I like to share the bottom of the deck, which I consider to be the underlying energy. For our outcome position, we have card number 20 in the major arcana, the Aeon. I just am truly in awe of the beauty of this reading. You see the blue figure arched on the top. She is the goddess Nui. She lays herself there as a blanket for the stars. Nuit is thought to have birthed the whole earth. And when I asked how was Nuit impregnated, the answer came. It was the darkness that impregnated Nuit. The darkness has never been something to fear. So this is a highly discriminating and discerning energy here. A higher, greater perspective, to stand in the center and view all sides at once, no longer jaded by your own perspective, no longer playing the victim, a discerning, discriminating, higher perspective, taking responsibility. I agree to stand in the center and view all sides at once. Nuit and the goddess Hadit, who you see there in the background image in this story, create the child Horus together. Horus is represented by the hawk and is the masculine aspect of the sun, and the new Aeon of Horus is the same as the age of Aquarius. So here we see that the child Horus has the ability to see that humans have fallen out of balance. And with the power of discrimination, we can begin to communicate in a manner that motivates and inspires rather than condemns. What do you hear when you turn on the news, especially noting what today is, November 8th in the United States? And I see these commercials that feel more like an episode of Maury Povich than they're trying to get my vote for them to serve my country and to lead my country. So Horus can see that human beings have fallen out of balance. And we're now presented with the power of discrimination to engage our creativity so that we can learn to communicate in ways that motivate and inspire one another through a spirit of collaboration rather than condemnation. Imagine the world we will live in. We're being called to see the bigger picture from a higher plane, to let go of injustice and unhappiness and our victim stories, to step into our power, to take a quantum leap, to take first level responsibility, to understand the great mystery of the divine. We create the Aeon. When we take a quantum leap into the great mystery of the divine, we create the new Aeon by letting go. Let my will be thy will. Take a quantum leap into the great mystery of the divine, and this is how you and I will create the new Aeon of love. I believe that was the last of my notes, and I will share with you the underlying energy, our fourth major arcana in the reading, the star. There is no greater blessing that could be poured on this energy than the great star mother Nuit, here pictured pregnant with the earth in her belly, holding one cup up, and that cup is being filled by the milk of the stars. The milk of the stars, divine, pure light of consciousness being poured ceaselessly into that cup. It pours through you and I as the conduit of heaven and earth. And the other cup is pouring that divine love and divine consciousness, that milk of the stars onto the earth. The full moon in the background, it's even red as it was in our eclipse last night. This represents the sign Aquarius, where we have Saturn now in Aquarius, squaring the sun and the moon. And there is no greater energy to take those shadows and use them as fertilizer for what we are creating in this world, a world of peace, love, and abundance. With that, we close out this reading. I am making a public declaration and promise to you to have the next full moon reading out by midnight before the full moon. I really do believe that there is importance in drawing the cards after the moon has already entered into the sign in which it will become full. The energy of the full moon is 2 to 3 days before and after. So it is far reaching, but I really do, spend significant time as I shuffle, calling in the energies of this moon. And I'm really delighted to share this with you. And I hope that you will look forward to these, and I hope that they bless you and nurture you. And if I can do anything at all to support you on your journey, please reach out. I'm currently working on a new website. It's nearly finished. It'll be launched by December 5th, and there are many offerings coming. We're also producing and creating right now an online summit, 5 Days to Radiance. It's an online health summit that will launch soon after the first of the year to help you to bring out your inner radiance, to shine like a diamond in your world. It'll offer you an opportunity to go through a 60-day cleanse, and to hear from 15 experts in the field of holistic health and wellness to give you tips and tools so that you can obtain optimal health naturally now. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm committed to helping my YouTube channel grow so that I can be in service to more people in the world at this time. So again, please like, share, and subscribe, and please reach out, and please comment. Please let me know your takeaways or what resonates or what doesn't resonate. If you like the style of the reading, I would love, 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 love to hear from you. Blessings and love, beautiful beings. Namaste.